change.
What was that now?
Said I'm looking for some change.
With you across the table, I'm happy you are able to be here with me. Cup of coffee, brilliant conversation, perhaps a revelation or two. This is as good as it gets. That's one thing I know is true. Seeing myself through the eyes of one who loves me, that's having a friend like you. Side by side we travel down this highway. We might do it my way, or we might do it yours. Nice and easy, the way it falls together. It seems I'll be forever with you. This is as good as it gets. That's one thing I know is true. Being myself and knowing you'll still love me, that's having a friend like you. In my heart, I feel this deep affection, a beautiful connection between you and me. Sometimes it's words of wisdom, sometimes it's left unspoken, but never is it broken in two. And that's because I have a friend like you.
It's really something that I've wanted to do almost my entire life. I haven't recorded the big works like this. I've recorded a lot of Gershwin songs, arrangements of Gershwin. I've played Gershwin all over the world with orchestras, but I haven't recorded the big works before. Gershwin is often recorded and it somehow loses the real jazz underpinnings, and I think to do it with a trio and to do the whole piece and expand on it is something that Gershwin would have approved of. Greg and I have worked for a very long time together, almost 20 years, again, all over the world, in the recording studios, countless times, our own trios and with other people, and he's really my best friend, and I trust his musical judgment more than anybody.
Shelley had been talking about wanting to do these Gershwin variations on Rhapsody in Blue that I'd heard him do live, where he incorporated the original arrangement that everybody's heard, but he inserted these sections for jazz rhythm section, which is really a strong suit for Shelley. Shelley's got great classical knowledge and technique, but he's really a master jazz piano player. It's really a thrill to be able to come to London with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra and Jose conducting and insert our little trio into this mix.
A very emotional moment for me. When I sold Steamers, I had figured this was the end of Steamers.
The day that I found out that Steamers is coming back and at this amazing place, Campus JAX, I was like the best Christmas gift.
When Terrence Love from Steamers and JAX kind of combined to create these Steamers Jazz Nights, it just seemed like the most perfect thing to have happen. The whole musical community here is excited about that.
Seeing, wow, what a lovely place. It's got beautiful sound, light, video, everything, and the food was fabulous. And they were doing the thing right.
One of the things that I love most about Steamers and then now at Campus JAX is when the sound system and the stage is so beautiful, the best musicians in the world want to play there. And I was able to call guys that I never dreamt of playing, that would get so excited. And now it's the same thing. I talk to musicians and I go, hey, you want to come down and play with me at Campus JAX? Campus JAX, yes.
Well, I've been all over the world and I've seen a lot of different musical environments. The talent here is so off the charts. I mean, it's hard for people that aren't from here to understand how good here is, how good the musicians are here, how good everybody. I mean, it's like all the people that I have on stage with me coming up are just so talented. It's ridiculous, the talent pool that we have to draw from here.
Only the best musicians, all the time. It's one of the things I want to do is present the music in the greatest way. I want the musicians to feel welcome. I want them to feel at home. I want them to feel like they're just not background music.
Here at Campus JAX, we have a love of the music, the audience. The team here has just made so many efforts to not only bring the musicians and the audience together like Terrence was doing for so long, but to do it at a really high quality. I've been doing clubs for, again, more years than I care to count, and this is a very rare example of how a music venue can run and be set up. And I feel nothing but care is given to what we're trying to present here and how we're trying to present it.
Now we've been doing this for months, and it's worked out fantastic. I see a great future ahead.
From what I know about Terrence, he did it because he loves the music.
And everybody responds to it because you have that atmosphere. And it really is recapturing that magic. There's an electricity. You know something special is happening and you're a part of it. And that's what I loved walking into Steamers all those years ago. And that's what I love about walking into Campus JAX.
I love Terrence Love, and I'm so excited that he's a part of the team here at Campus JAX.
Steamers Jazz is back, and it's at Campus JAX.
Steamers Jazz at JAX.
When you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning, fever all through the night.
My hometown's Oskaloosa, Iowa, and there's a square there. So they roped off one side of the square, put the sawdust down, and the high school band played. And I'm just banging away on the guitar. I had no idea what I was doing. So a guy came up behind me and said, I just moved to town, and I'm a bass player. I've been on the road, and I'm going to settle here. He said, would you mind if I set in? We said, no, go ahead. So he stood right behind me playing string bass. And the sound, I couldn't believe how much I loved it. It just blew my mind. And so the next day, I ran down to the, literally ran down to the high school. And at that time, they had a concert band. I played trombone in badly. And then on the other side of the room, they had the orchestra. And they had a couple of basses. I picked up the string bass, and that was it. I was home. I didn't know where I was going, how I was going to do, knew nothing about the music business. But I was possessed. I had to do it. I had to do it. Some friends of mine from Des Moines called and said, hey, we're in Meridian, Mississippi, and we need a bass player. So I said, okay, I'm coming right down. I called my folks in Chicago, picked up the train, train before that. I called my folks and said, save your money. I don't really want to go back, and they said, yeah, I'm going to Mississippi. They said, okay, you got it. So that's how I got really started playing professional. Came back, went to Chicago. So every night I would go down to Clark Street, and I would take my bass, and of course they never hired a bass. They had an old beat up piano and a drummer and a tenor sax. So I used to go in, and they'd love to see a bass player. Most of those guys were from the south end of Chicago. They were good players. And then every night we would go to a place called the High Note, which 450 North Clark, I remember it. And they would close at 2, and so we'd have the jam session. We'd jam till 6 in the morning, and some guys came in to really play. So that was really my apprenticeship. That's where I learned a lot, to know what I was doing, playing. And I was starving, by the way, but I was young, I didn't care.
Bruce Foreman has contributed to countless recordings, including Ray Brown, Bobby Hutcherson, Roger Kellaway, and soundtrack performances on 3 of Clint Eastwood's distinguished films, most notably Academy Award-winning Million Dollar Baby. Bruce is a producer, arranger, and acclaimed educator at USC's studio and jazz guitar department. Formanism, his trio project, and his original works like The Red Guitar are only the latest answers to the endless questions that underlies Bruce Forman's creativity. Bruce Forman's life and musical journey provide an American saga that is still in full swing. His Texas origins, his early career in San Francisco and New York, and his years on the road all contribute to the unique and highly personal vision that he demonstrates today. Steamers Jazz at JAX is proud and honored to present Bruce Forman.
Hey everybody. How you doing, Bruce? Tony?
Good to see you. Hello.
Terrence Love. We've got another edition of Steamers Jazz at Campus JAX, and boy, what I hate to say old friend, I just say a beautiful, lovely man, incredible jazz guitarist, everything, and wearing a hat as usual. Bruce Forman. Let's hear it for him.
Yeah, you get hat, you don't get pants. You got to pick one of the other.
Well, yeah, we already talked about wearing pants. That CNN guy. Anyway, welcome. I don't know how much you know Tony, or if you met him before or whatever, but
we met years ago, but we've never worked together.
Yeah. You got to work. Well, Bruce already talked us. Bruce already talked and told us that he's going to be bringing a band and to Campus JAX after this thing all ends. So we're all going to be good friends by the end of this. Anyway, so what's going on, man? Tell me what's happening in your life today. COVID, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, we've been calling, me and my wife have been calling this the mandemic.
Yes.
Because basically she's not used to me being around so much. Which is all the time, and it's really been tougher. What you're seeing now is my man shed. It's my little studio out the back, and I'm pretty much here 24/7, and just trying not to piss her off so that the food keeps coming, and that's it. I miss being in LA, so I go out and sit in my car and don't go anywhere for like an hour. I've been doing that, staying healthy. I live up in the Carmel Valley. It's near Monterey and Carmel.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's great up here. It's a canyon, a lot of trees and then mountains, and I hike a lot with my dog. And I've been just playing my guitar and creating a bunch of stuff. I was always the guy who used the internet for just to promote my offline stuff, going and playing in your clubs and everything. To me, music is about people hanging out together and playing live and playing together. And so when this all happened, I realized, shit, I got to get online like everybody else. And so I'm kind of learning to film myself for YouTube and build an audio interface so I can do tracks for my friends and not have to go to a studio anymore. And also I started a twice weekly TV show called Grumps TV. Grumps is my character that when I get mad and rant about stuff. That's kind of had been my character for 10 years. So Grumps has a TV show with his wife Gidget, and it's twice a week, and they're all up on my YouTube channel, and everybody can go check it out. It's a mixture. It's sort of like Fernwood Tonight meets I Love Lucy.
Oh, wow. So this must be unusual because you said this mandemic, this is actually the first time you've actually got on somebody else's nerves. Is that what you're saying?
No, but I'm usually gone so fast I don't notice.
So what projects you got going besides that, or did you lose any big gigs, or you still have?
Yeah. The whole summer of touring. I mean, I was supposed to, in April, I was supposed to be in Northern Italy. So that was a great tour manager that booked that one, right? And they've just been flying, just been going down ever since. I teach at USC. Luckily, that we were able to maintain online. So I've been teaching my kids. We just ended that semester, so now I'm facing the Sahara of the summer before the fall semester starts. And all of my gigs have been canceled. The next one I still have on the books is the Monterey Jazz Festival, which is the third week of September. They haven't canceled that yet, but everything till then is just morte. And pretty much everybody I've talked to, it's the same thing.
Right.
And but I've just taken. I mean, luckily I've got a nice space to be. I'm healthy, and I just love playing, and I'm kind of rediscovering the whole thing of playing music. Like what it was about in the first place, why I got into it. Just hearing the sound of my guitar and feeling it vibrate against me, and going through a tune and just mining it for all the things I can find in it, and just sort of listening to the sounds without kind of having to like rehearse for a gig or a record date, or to work things out in like a pressure situation. Just sort of naturally, just work on it and let it all talk to me, and it's been quite really cathartic. I mean, I love the instrument and I love playing even more. I can't wait to get back to play with people. But the fact is this is not so bad. I mean, music, and I don't think it's just guitar or piano. I think every instrument is just to sit there and just listen to your sound and get deep into it and find things. I predict that when we emerge from this, the musicians are all going to have raised their game to the ones that worked on it instead of complained on the internet. Uh, they'll be the ones that will really, the music will elevate because of this. I believe.
Good.
I just hope that the audience continues decides to return. That's really
So, would you mind playing a song or two for us? And also, if you after this first song, tell us a little bit.
And after all that, it better be good.
Yeah. I know. Also, after this first song, if you could tell us a little bit about that junkyard duo of yours too.
I can tell you about a lot of stuff. I got to make sure. I'll get back a little bit so you can see more of the guitar.
Perfect.
Is that better?
That's beautiful.
You hear it?
Yes.
Whoa. Yeah.
Fantastic, man. Great.
Bruce, I was going crazy because I know that tune so well. I even did a big band arrangement of it, and for some reason I'm blanking on the title.
I'm getting sentimental over you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
What a great tune, huh?
Yeah, it's a beautiful one.
Yeah, I like that. Like the first A and the next, before the tag it goes, but then the second A and the very last tag it goes. I love the way they,
Right.
one little note to just kind of change the whole meaning of it.
It always makes me sad as a composer or a writer to write stuff like that and know that 99% of the people won't ever notice that. But I like all those little things in there,
Yeah, me too. And actually, when I played it, I didn't actually do it every time I came around. You just make it up as you go sometimes. And with the guitar, you miss by that much, and it's like all bets are off.
Hey, at least when you miss by that much on a guitar, it still sounds like an instrument. But if I miss on a trumpet, it's not so pretty.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
So, what about this Junkyard Duo?
Okay, well, Junkyard Duo got an interesting story to it. I had a cool guitar. I still have it. It's a resonator guitar, one of those dobro kind of guitars, really kind of trash canny sound, and I love it. And I was playing around, the clubs in LA, as you know, and playing with all the young guys. Man, there's so many great young talented people out there, and I was just playing the scene, and I would get gigs, and I would call and bass players, man. Bass players, they would call the day of the gig, the day before. Oh man, I got another gig, and it was always for like $5 more. And not disparaging them all. I mean, John Clayton, man, his word is his bond. He takes it. He's going to be there. But pretty much everybody else, $20, that's enough to change the game. And they would get there, and they're all great players, but they have this like concept that they're going to like just play the way they play, and they won't even listen to me and the drummer who played together before and kind of decide how best to fit in. It's just like boom, 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 and it's like, wait a minute, we ain't playing that way yet. You know what I mean? We're going to work our way to that. And it just got to the point where it felt like I was being harassed by a band leader that wasn't a band leader, and so I always kind of grew up playing without bass because bass players were working gigs while we were playing sessions, and so it was just really fun for me always to play just with drums. And of course, if you want to play giant steps for 2 hours at a really fast tempo, the drummer's not going to complain, but the bass player, he's going to complain. So yeah, I mean, it's a session, so we were always working on music that way. So I just decided to do it without bass. And then with the drums, I figured, wow, since I'm playing this trash candy sounding instrument, why don't the drummer don't bring a drum set, just bring stuff that would be like found in a junkyard. Suitcases, box, chains, brake drums, tea kettles, salt shakers, pots and pans, whatever, And yeah, if you want to bring a snare drum or a hi-hat or something, go ahead, but make it, no, the whole thing is about all these toys, this crazy shit. Because every drummer in the world, they all started by walking around the house banging on shit, right?
Yeah.
So this is not weird for a drummer, And of course, it looked really cool. I mean, people would walk in to see us play, and we looked like a bunch of hobos. And the drum set looks literally like he found it by the side of some railroad tracks or something, and yet we're playing all just like what you heard me just play. We would play that way. I mean, we didn't really change. We changed the way we played only because of the sonic landscape, not because of we wanted to play like we were 1930s Woody Guthrie or anything. And so and it was just became this thing. And we were, all of a sudden we were like the darlings of the hipster scene, and all the guys with the plaid shirts and the beards and the and the real tight jeans, that thing, and the glasses. And so I became kind of like a hipster guru, I think, and I went out there, and we were just and so you work a bunch of gigs, you started getting hired, you need a recording. That's the way it works. I mean, it's pretty much every one of my projects of life have been like, come up with a cool project, it sort of takes off, and then I have to make recordings for it.
Yeah. Did you video any of it?
There might be some on YouTube. Again, like I told you, my entrance into my own doing the online thing is completely just as of the pandemic. So anything that would be on YouTube would have been put up by somebody else. And of course, I'm sure there are a million recordings of it somewhere, because you can't go anywhere without people recording it. So that's how that band kind of happened, and I really love doing it. My favorite, Jake Reed, who plays in the band, he's great. He does it. He was kind of the inaugural member. A guy named Jay Bellerose does it. There's a guy who's like, he's been doing that his whole life. I mean, basically, it should have been his idea. I just kind of came up with it. Smitty Smith has done it. Lots of great drummers have done it, and it's really funny to see them kind of just, because their natural inclination is to kind of go right for the thing, especially when I'm playing like Count Basie, and they're like going, all of a sudden there's no bass drum, all that kind of thing, and they gotta kind of hit a tea kettle for a while and shit, and yet it's just so much fun. And like I say, just because of the sonic landscape, it makes you be creative. I mean, just by having new sounds to play with. And then I kind of I went back to using this guitar for Junkyard Duo just because I kind of screwed up again. I had this project called the Red Guitar. I still have it. And it's been my main project over the last 4 or 5 years. And it's a libretto. I tell a story while I'm playing. And basically, I tell the story of how the music possesses all the people who play. I mean, everybody on your show, even you guys, the music, whether you like it or not, it kind of fights you. And it's like a terminal illness. It won't let you go. You're going to die of this. This is terminal. And so I tell a story of how the music found me, the ways it got into my soul and into my life, and how the business has changed my life, and how all of the ramifications of basically the pursuit of sound, I call it, and what that's like. And it's a whole thing where I talk and tell a story and play. And I've done it off Broadway in New York. I've done it all over the world, and I'm really proud of it. And so the red guitar, because it's based lightly on the red shoes and the red violin, the red guitar sort of became my brand. And so I kind of really don't go anywhere without this girl now. This is kind of it's like my dancing partner because of that. I guess you could say it's branding, but where I come from, branding is really painful. And you don't want to be on the other side. You want to be the brander, not the brandee or the brand.
Right.
Yeah.
And believe me, I've done a bunch of them. I can safely say that I'm the only bebop guitar player that can rope a cow.
That's true. Hey, listen, I just got we're running short on time. You want to talk about? You want to talk about the Hillary Gardner? I thought about you.
Well, there's a woman who I found it just. We met at a festival together, and I just loved her singing, and I dug her vibe, and we just stayed in touch. And when I go back to New York and do my red guitar shows at either Lincoln Center or off Broadway, we always work gigs together. And I think you have like from Mesro, which is just really the coolest club in New York. It's this little basement. It's just sounds so good and feels so. It just reminds me of really where jazz is supposed to be played. Good. And she's great. I want to just say thank you. I want to say hi to Kate Reed, who I also play with duo all the time, and I love her and I miss her, and it's driving me crazy that we can't go out and work more. And of course, Rob and Alyssa. And I also want to thank you for doing it and remind everybody about Bruce Foreman YouTube channel, because the Grumps TV is up there. And, you know, it's time to binge. We're already like episode 14 is coming up on Wednesday.
Cool.
Nice.
It was so great to see you again, my friend. And the best to you. We'll be sending people your way, and this will be up on the Campus JAX thing for a while. People can look at it, and we love you, man. Stay
Everybody
safe.
stay healthy, stay safe, and let's hang soon.
And I want to say before we cut to the next clip, because we've got another clip of you in performance. After that, we're going to see part 2 of the life story of Max Bennett, who is one of the all-time legendary bass players, and we lost him just a couple of years ago. But he was a good friend, great musician, and worked with everybody from Charlie Parker to Frank Zappa and everybody in between, and a lot of great stories there. So that's the video you're watching there.
All right. Guys, be well. See you later.
Seems that I live, or somebody said that out of sight is out of mind. Maybe that's so, but I tried to go and leave you behind. What did I find? I took a trip on a train, and I thought about you. I passed a shadowy lane, and I thought about you. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream, moon shining down on some little town, and with each beam the same old dream. At every stop that we've made, I thought about you. And when I pulled down the shade, then I really felt blue. I peeked through the crack and looked at the track, the one going back to you. And what did I do? I thought about you. I took a trip on a train, and I thought about you. I passed a shadowy lane, and I thought about you. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream, moon shining down on some little town, and with each beam I had the same old dream. At cry, I can't look at the track. I'm going back to you. And what did I do? I thought about what did I do? I thought about what did I do? I thought about you. When you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning, fever all through the night.
So I got the opportunity to play a band that was already organized. They needed a bass player. Herbie Fields was a saxophone player who jumped up and down all the time. We used to say, to the delight of the audience and the embarrassment of the band. We went to New York after we played around Chicago. And first time I'd ever been in New York. And we were playing on Broadway, upstairs. And guess what? Charlie Parker was the opening act. So it was every night I would go to listen to Charlie Parker. So one night, I'm standing there waiting for them to go on. Guy comes up and says, "Aren't you the bass player with Herbie Fields?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Get your bass." He said, "Tommy Potter didn't show up yet." And I'm like, but, you know, I can't do this. So I went out. It was all sort of it went by really fast. But I got to play with Charlie Parker, first time in New York. When we finished there, Herbie broke up the band. But when we worked there, he had changed drummers, and the drummer was Tiny Khan. And he lived in New York. Great, great player. And he's the man that straightened me out, time-wise. I wasn't working at the time. I was living with, believe it or not, I was living with Terry Gibbs. And just rooming there, you know, paying no rent, because I didn't have any money. So then we got the call from Georgie Auld, great saxophone player, tenor saxophone player. And so Georgie started a band. Georgie, Lou Levy, Tiny Khan, Frank Rosalino, great trombone player, and me. So we went on the road. We were on the road until sometime in early 1951. And then I got a message from the United States saying it's time to go into the Army. When I got out of there, naturally, I went right back to Chicago because I knew the place and knew a lot of players there, and stayed there until I hooked up with Charlie Ventura, saxophone player. But, he had Jackie Kane and Roy Krull. They were real famous, a vocal duo, and we played all over the United States. So one day I jumped in my car, it was real close to New York, and went into New York, and so I'm walking up and down Broadway, and here's Birdland, the famous Birdland. So I went downstairs, it was in the afternoon, and just as I walked in the door, I heard the bartender or somebody say, "Yeah, the bass player's leaving the band." I thought, okay. So I told him who I was, and I was a bass player, and he said, "Well, yeah," he said, "talk to Eddie Sauter when he comes in about 8 o'clock. So I met Eddie Sauter, who was one of the composers and head of the band, and he said, "Well, stick around and play the last set." Okay. So I'm sitting by the bass player all night, and I'm listening to this music, and it was hard. And things got harder, and I got more scared each time. So the last set, it was and I had to play another guy's bass, but that was okay. So I sweat a lot and played the last set, and I got the job.
Robert Kyle is one of Southern California's favorite sax players. Aside from working with nearly everyone in town, he's also shared the stage with artists like Gino Vanelli, CeeLo Green, Natalie Cole, Michael McDonald, Johnny Mathis, Jason Mraz, Chaka Khan, Linda Ronstadt, Christina Aguilera, Blake Shelton, and many, many others. He was the musical director for blues legend Linda Hopkins and is the producer of singer Betty Bryant's latest recordings. He's toured all over the world and continues to write and record his own music, which you can find online on his many solo releases. Robert joins us today with pianist and educator Elise Korn, another busy Southern California-based musician with a long list of performing and recording credentials, and a current doctoral candidate in jazz studies at USC. Please welcome Robert Kyle and Elise Korn to Steamers Jazz at JAX.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, we're back.
We want to welcome Rob Kyle and Elise Korn to the show. Thank you for being here. Rob is an old friend of mine. Rob, we've been making music together for I think 20 years this year, if I'm correct in my somewhat guessing.
Yeah, I would say for sure at least that amount.
Yeah. And one of the greatest guys in the biz, and just happy to have him here. And always, one thing I love about Rob is that he's always just been so much about the music and making music, and because of that, a lot of great art comes out of him. And so we're just happy to have you guys here. And thanks for being here. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you, Tony. Thank you. Yeah, we're under the circumstances. We're doing really well.
Yeah. Where are you sequestered?
We're sequestered now in Ojai, which we quietly kind of moved to Ojai almost a year ago.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay. It's not quiet anymore. There's no big I have to worry about not getting called for.
Yeah.
Well, I get to formally meet Elise. Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. And yeah, Rob must have played Steamers 50 times or so over the years, all sorts of different bands too.
Yeah, a lot of focaccia.
Yeah, a lot of focaccia.
And a total of $300.
That's right.
I don't know. That might
Wait, it wasn't that much. It wasn't that much, was it?
Well, he sold the focaccia on the side.
That's right. Oh my God, yeah. So you guys doing well in considering all this? That's great. That's really good.
And of course, we're not happy for anybody that's suffering or struggling or has their own issues they're going through. But in a way, there's also been a lot of gifts from being stuck at home for this long,
right.
And having time and space in your life to do the things that you don't normally have time to do.
Right.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't say one of the things that we have to notice and take note to is that every gig that Rob played at Steamers, he always brought flowers to, and I see he did it again, especially all the credit to Rob for decorating the set right there.
Oh, no. That's all Elise is doing.
Oh.
But thanks for noticing.
Yes.
Hey, I should mention too, I forgot to say this earlier, but only because it's happened a couple of times for everybody watching. If the show gets disconnected or just ends abruptly, that means there might have been a technical glitch. So just stick around or log back on within a minute or two, and we will be back just in case. So just letting you know that our show won't just end abruptly on purpose.
This is awesome. It's like the wild west phase of the internet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, although our careers ended abruptly, so maybe.
There's that.
No, I think there have been about 3 or 4 shows that somehow there's been a connection problem with one of the artists or Tony or I or our producer Tim in the background, which you guys can't see, that all of a sudden, like 13 seconds before we're going live, everything works out. So,
right.
It's been good. It's been good.
Hey, that's great, but it is live. For us. It's really live.
Elise, tell us a little bit about what you do. I mean, I know what you do to a certain degree, but for the people who don't know you.
Well, I've been on the scene in LA. 1990, I moved out from Miami.
Right.
University of Miami, Cal Arts, and then I started gigging, and I've gigged with Susie Hance and other artists over at Steamers.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah. And
well, you know what? You must have made less than $50.
Oh.
That's why I did. That's why I didn't remember. Or you had more focaccia or something like that. I'm sorry. That's the way it is.
Too bad you can't cash in that focaccia.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Wow.
All right, you guys got a tune for us?
We do. Yeah. We're going to play a tune by the great Brazilian pianist João Donato. It's called Minha Saudade.
It's easy for you to say.
Not that easy. It means my longing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Very nice.
How's the effect coming through a teeny little phone?
It's like a record.
Oh, perfect. Been wasting all that money on studios all these years.
Right. You remember those cardboard albums that you used to get on the back of cereal boxes? It's pretty close to that these days. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. And they were out in colored plastic, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. I do remember that.
I still have one that I got out of a Mad magazine, by the way.
I do too. It's not called It's a Gas?
I remember that one, but the one I liked was Making Out. That was the one I had.
Yeah, I have a Mad magazine one. It's called It's a Gas, man.
Oh man, I remember that song.
Yeah.
Now, at least I wasn't. My question wasn't too clear because I've known you I've known who you are as a player, but you do a lot. I was trying to read up, and I'm not sure I have it right, but you do a lot with young kids, right? With education, like music.
Right. Yeah, I've been teaching Suzuki early childhood from ages birth to 3 music classes for parents for 10 years.
Yeah,
and then
3, that's
piano, 30 years, 35 years.
I've always been so fascinated with that, with teaching music at that age. And I don't know much about it, but I know the Suzuki method is pretty evolved for that, right? For reaching that young of an age with music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I was over at USC working on my doctorate and studying with Dr. Beatrice Alari, who's in the music education and specializing in early childhood development research for music.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, we were slow with our kids, but they're starting to get there now. So
I don't know. I've seen some of Nico's work. He's pretty happening.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good now. Yeah, now that he realizes playing a rock guitar can help him get the girls, we're putting
how old is he?
A little more time in the woodshed. He just
yeah. Way to go, Nico.
You have another tune for us?
We do. We're going to play a tune that I wrote for Louis Cruz Beltran. I have the pleasure of working in his band a lot when there are gigs. And Louis is a great guy and just a fun guy, great entertainer and percussionist and singer. And I wrote a tune for him called Brother Louis. So we're going to do that for you right now.
Cool. Fantastic, fantastic.
That's awesome. It's like a real jazz gig with 2-3 people clapping after the tune.
This is full house. Hey, we got to go. Thank you for being here with us, guys.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks for having us on the show. Thanks for what you're doing, Terrence, Tony, Tim. Yeah. And happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there.
Yeah. All right. It's great to see you guys. Thank you so much.
Take care.
In the early 1960s, the bossa nova was all the craze. Please enjoy our rendition of the Riccardo Bossa Nova.
came to L.A. and settled at the beach because I had met Stan Levy, and he was with Kenton's band at the time. I had met him in Chicago, and he said, believe it or not, he said the bass player's leaving. So I said, okay. So I came to L.A. And so then eventually I went out with Stan Kenton and worked with him for a couple of years. Started to get into the studios in LA just a little bit. It was one of those things where if I could just get one studio job a month, I'd just be in heaven, you know. Well, that turned into quite a deal. First, if I could just get one a week, you know, or then it was if I could just get 2 a week. Well, that blossomed into playing, and so I was ending up playing 20 to 25 dates a week. I know it sounds insane, but 1 week I did 25 dates and turned down 26.
Never know how much I love you. Never know how much I care. When you put your arms around me, I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever.
When I was working with Peggy Lee, I worked for her. I first worked with her in 1956. She needed a bass player. Here we go again. And Lou Levy, I knew him because we'd worked with George Yellow's band, and so he recommended me. And so I started working with Peggy in 1956, which dates my age right there, and that's okay. I worked with her 56, 57, and we were in Palm Springs, and it just didn't feel good. I mean, the music was fine, but she wasn't as happy as she should be. Well, she had married a fellow that was in the Navy in the Second World War, Dewey Martin, and things were not going well, you might say. So they were getting a divorce. She told me they were getting a divorce, and she said, by the way, she said, before we left, she said, I'm looking for a torch song of some kind. If you hear of anything, let me know. Well, shortly after that, it must have been maybe like a couple of weeks, I was working on Western Avenue in a dump, you know, just a bar with a quartet playing jazz, and kind of very loose situation. A young kid came in and said, can I sit in and sing? We said, sure, why not? What do you want to sing? He said, I want to sing a tune called Fever. I said, I've never heard of it. And he said, oh, there's only 2 chords, you know, it's real simple. So we played it, and he sang it, and I thought, perfect for Peggy. So I called her, and she got the sheet music, but I didn't record the first time that she recorded it because I went on the road with Ella Fitzgerald at that time. So, she did give me credit for finding it. But then later on, when I worked with her at Mason Street East in New York, we re-recorded it, and I got to play my own version.
Be it Fahrenheit or centigrade, they give you fever.
Welcome back, folks. That was great with Max there, and I want to interrupt all of this and tell you guys that we're here, Steamers Jazz at Campus JAX, and Tony Guerrero and I have been putting this on with the help of Tim Ellis and Jack Jasper over at Campus JAX, of course, and we need to ask that if you can help support them. Campus JAX is still doing curbside meals. You come pick it up from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. We hope you can continue to support that, because when this thing's all over, we're going to open it up with a bang and start doing all those live shows again.
And if I'm wrong, Terrence, but the bar is also, it's drive-through, right? Drive up for the bar.
That may be something that is true, but it hasn't been in my scheme of things for 32 years. You know, I kind of, I put that bottle down, put the plug in the jug, and I'm happy about it. You know,
Hey man,
but,
I always tell people. I mean, now it's been 32 years, but you know, at the time, I would tell people like, yeah, he's been 25 years and he opened a bar.
yeah, I know, that's right. Well, it's just like people would say, like I'm nuts. Like I opened a jazz club. I was nuts.
Yeah,
Right?
you were not
It's been
thinking clearly
from the beginning. But anyway, I do want, if you can help us also, because there's a lot of work behind the scenes and a lot of money to put out to help this thing go. We have a tip jar that you can go to steamersjax.com, just like steamersjazz.com, but steamersjax.com. We've combined our thing, and there's a place there you can leave a tip jar. Also on the Facebook at Jax Hideaway or Campus Jax there, and help us out a little bit. You know, it really would help to do this. Also, in the background, you don't see not only Tim, there's John Wynn, there's Golden, and there's Janvier Vargas that are producing these wonderful videos, etc. And let's see, I want to tell you before we bring the next video to do the intro for Kate Reed, which I'm very excited about. Kate was a longtime player and friend of mine at Steamers, and really excited. But I want to let you know, upcoming, we have some incredible shows on the 17th, next Sunday night. Tamir Hendelman, incredible pianist. And then on the 24th, the one and only Shelley Berg. Tony, why don't you bring it away and intro this video?
Yeah, Kate is one of the best, and we're going to hear from her right now on a beautiful song called "So Many Stars," and then she is going to join us live from Miami, Florida. And so let's let the video take it away.
The dawn is filled with dreams, so many dreams. Which one is mine? One must be right for me. Which dream of all the dreams, when there's a dream for every star, and there are so many stars, so many stars. The wind is filled with songs, so many songs. Which one's mine? One must be right for me. Which song of all the songs, when there's a song for every star, and there are so many stars, so many stars. Oh, the countless days, the endless nights that I have heard, so many eyes, so many hearts, so many smiles. Which one to choose, which way to go? How can I tell? How will I know? Out of so many stars, so many stars. countless days, the endless nights that I have searched. So many hearts, so many smiles, so many eyes. Which one to choose, which way to go? How can I tell? How will I know? Out of so many stars, so many stars, so many stars, so many stars, so many stars. Mr. Jordan Fox. Till you hear from me.
Jazz vocalist and pianist Kate Reid has worked with many of the great jazz musicians, including guitarists Bruce Forman, Ron Eshte, and Larry Coons, trumpeter and composer John DeVersa, and drummers Roy McCurdy and Jamie Tate. Reid is a working studio session singer in Los Angeles. Her film credits include Star Trek Into Darkness, Planes, Oz the Great and Powerful, Epic, and Men in Black 3, featuring the music of composer Danny Elfman. Kate is in demand as a guest artist, conductor, and returning clinician and adjudicator at jazz and choral vocals throughout the United States and Canada. Dr. Kate Reid is Associate Professor of Jazz Voice in the Studio Music and Jazz Department and Director of Jazz Vocal Performance at the University of Miami Frost School of Music. Steamers Jazz at JAX is honored to welcome Ms. Kate Reid.
I haven't a chance.
Hey, Kate.
Hey, guys.
And we're back. Wow, what a pleasure to see you again, dear. It's been so long. Wow, I miss that voice.
Oh, I miss you guys. I think it's been probably 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
In Florida for that long? 7 years now.
Yeah, just finishing up the 7th year at the university. Yeah.
And you look younger than ever. You look great.
I appreciate that. I'm hitting a big milestone birthday next week, T. So, yay.
My God. Oh.
I wish it was 30. No, but everything's good.
Stop counting, you know. Now I'm just waiting for that big check to come in each month. So anyway, how you doing over there?
We're doing well. We're doing well. Like everybody, trying to stay safe, keeping everybody in our orbit safe. We're finishing up the school semester, so it's, getting a little bit more creative time for me. I've been teaching a lot, and the online thing was a quick 2 weeks. We're going to go online and teach everything. Ensembles, find ways to inspire, encourage, and motivate, and teach. So we're doing fine. Everybody's good in our orbit, and like we were talking earlier, just excited about creating with others as soon as we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How have the students been responding to learning music this way?
Initially, it was a big kind of almost like a hit on the side of the head kind of a thing, because they went away for spring break thinking we're just going to come back, and then spring break came and went and got extended, and then they just stayed there, and all of them had their things at the schools, and some of them haven't even come back to get their stuff from their apartments and their dorms. So initially that was a thing, and the technical the tech and the gear. That took a little while, but once we got into a groove, I was really impressed. They really rose, and of course, they know way more than we do in a lot of ways about some of this stuff. I found it fun, actually. I think I really enjoyed it more than I thought I would. You find new ways to communicate, and you can't accompany in real time, so that's a thing, the whole latency thing. But everybody was different, so we kind of took it student by student, and we got them through.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of creativity showing its face. It's that we're forced to be creative in new ways, and then there's a lot of loss. Obviously, as musicians, we want to play together, but I would bet for the students, this is such a time to be learning how to play with other musicians that's got to be a big loss on that end. So hopefully that won't last too long.
That's what we're hoping. Hope to get back to the fall where we can be in the same room. But yeah, learning how to play over something that somebody else has played and still make it feel natural and communicative, and sometimes coming back to the other person to re-record their track. It's very interesting. And these kids are very social media savvy anyway, right? Because they're always posting. So it's been an interesting journey with that. I'm looking forward to obviously having him back in the room, but I think we're going to be maybe a little longer with this virtual thing, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any projects you're working on that may have gotten interrupted, or something that you've just started to develop throughout this thing here, outside of the teaching and all that?
Yeah, I've been just recently trying to think about what the next thing needs to be. I just did a duo record with some pianists and guitarists, which was really, really wonderful. Interested in kind of stepping maybe a little bit further away from standards this time, which seems to be what everybody does. So I'm kind of reticent to do it, but in the same way, and the other way, I'm excited about doing some other things, and maybe working with some more voices and doing more vocal things with other vocalists. Ironically, probably recording remotely. We were going to do that anyway, so. I think this might be a little bit more arranged, some original stuff. So we'll see. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
You got a song or two for us now?
I do have a song or two. Yes.
We would love to hear it.
All right. We were talking about this before we started tonight. This is a tune originally recorded in 1960 by Nat King Cole, music by Ray Rash, and lyrics by Dottie Wayne. This is called Wild as Love. Wild is love, whenever two hearts meet. Wild is love, bitter but oh so sweet. And I know I must go wherever love takes me. Whatever love makes me, I will be like a fire burning beyond control. Wild is love, deep in my heart and soul. And the wild is the wind and wild is the rolling sea. Nothing could ever be wild as love. Wild as love, whenever two hearts meet. Wild is love, love it oh so sweet. And I know I must go wherever love takes me. Whatever love makes me, I will be like fire burning inside, beyond control. Wild is love, deep in my heart and soul. And the wild is the wind, and as the rolling sea, nothing could ever be wild as love. Wild is love, wherever two hearts meet. Wild is love, bitter but oh so sweet. And I know I must go wherever love takes me. Whatever love takes me, I will be like a fire, burning beyond control. Wild is love, deep in my heart and soul. And though wild is the wind and wild is the rolling sea, nothing could ever be wild as love. Nothing could ever be wild as love.
I love that tune.
Very nice.
I'm so
Very
glad you
nice.
knew it. That's such a good tune. It's so fun.
Great. So Mr. Steve's doing good then, right? He's on dog duty?
He's on dog duty. Yeah, he's babysitting the 3 pups. We have adopted a big Great Dane, and so he's a puppy at about 110 pounds.
For those of you who don't know, Steve is a fantastic trumpet player.
Yeah. And a better golfer than me.
I don't know that he would say that, but that's a compliment.
Well, I don't either, but I gave it to him. We only played 1 round together, and I gave it to him.
Oh, we miss you guys so much. I was looking through videos, of course, to consider links to send and whatnot, and so many great moments at Steamers, and so many of those videos with all the players in town, and some great memories. A real training ground for me in a lot of ways. I learned so much playing that club. So I owe you. Terry.
No, you don't mean that. No, you're. This is fantastic. This is unbelievable. It's just so great. It's like I'm tickling inside hearing your voice and you playing. It's just really, really so cool.
Thank you. I love that we can do this. This is great.
Got another.
Well, wait. Go ahead, Tony.
Go ahead. I was asking for.
I was going to say before you play the next one, if people want to know what's going on with you or to purchase a CD or whatever, KateReedMusic.com or where do you want them to go?
They can go to my website, and they can also go to CD Baby. They can go to iTunes. They can go to all those places. And social media, they can find me at Kate Reed on Facebook and also Instagram, Kate Reed Jazz, and all the things. Yeah.
Wow. Tony, I interrupted you.
I was going to ask for another tune.
I would love to do a tune. I think I'm going to do one from the last record, if that's okay. This is a duo that I did with Taylor Eichste. I'm not going to sound like him, I promise. But this is a tune called Busy Being Blue. I'm just too busy being blue. So many other things that I could do. Get lost in a real good book. Give love not a second look. There are ways of getting over you. I suppose I could make some plans, escape this town in search of foreign lands, find charms in outrageous friends, smoke and drink until I offend, but I'm too lost in thoughts of only you. I imagine you here, like I always do. That slanted smile, sad-eyed like a child,
pleading that I take you back. Let's begin again. But I surmise, I pretend. Oh, I know I could get some help. The deep psychology of feeling sorry for oneself. But I'd rather revel in all your flaws, remain in what once was. Right now I'm too busy being blue. I'm just much too busy being blue. Right now I'm too busy being blue. I'm just much too busy being blue. Oh, I know I could get some help. The deep psychology of feeling sorry for oneself. But I'd rather revel in all your flaws, remain in what once was. Right now I'm too busy being blue. I'm just much too busy being blue. Right now I'm too busy being blue. I'm just much too busy being blue.
Okay. That was lovely. That was lovely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Well, so we're gonna say goodbye to you, but when this thing all ends, we're gonna open Campus Jacks up again, and we're gonna be doing lots of nights there. Anytime you're over here or what you're planning on it, we would love to have you. Absolutely.
I'm going to take you up on that.
Please do. Please
I
do.
can't wait to do that. Can't wait to see you all. Happy creating. Thanks for putting good things in this world, you guys, all of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And my best to your dogs and Steve and and be very safe. Please be safe, okay?
Will do. Thanks so much, you guys.
Good night.
Bye, Kate.
Bye.
It's not the pale moon that excites me, that thrills and delights me. Oh no, it's just the nearness of you. It isn't your sweet conversation that brings this sensation. Oh no, it's just the nearness of you. When you're in my arms and I hold you so close, close to me, I need no soft lights to enchant me. If you only grant me the right to hold you ever so tight, and to feel in the night the nearness of you.
When you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning, fever all through the night.
After I left Peggy, I went with Ella Fitzgerald, and we traveled all over the country. And then Lou Levy was the keyboard player, and Gus Johnson from Count Basie's band was the drummer. Had a trio with Ella. We worked all the main cities in the United States, and then we got the word that we were going to Europe, and I'd never been to Europe, so I was very excited about that. So we went to Europe and played all over Europe, plus Scandinavia, and with Oscar Peterson, his group was the opening act, and then with Ella, and it was wonderful playing with her, with the trio. And Coleman Hawkins on tenor sax, Roy Eldridge, Dizzy Gillespie, who was a blast. Great to hang out. He was crazy, but he's a wonderful guy and a great player. Stan Getz was on it, and Big Joe Turner. And so I was like, this must be heaven. I worked with Tom Scott, so Tom went to the Baked Potato and booked us there on a Tuesday night. We hired a guitar player, and the first guitar player didn't work out exactly the way we wanted. And then Larry Carlton walked in the door one night and sat in, and that was it. That was the band. Right after that, maybe a couple, 3 weeks, somebody told Joni Mitchell about the band. So she came in to hear the band and loved it, and asked us if we'd like to record a couple of songs on her next album. Sure. So we get into the studio. There's A&M Studios, and Joe, me, John, and Tom. So we're looking at each other, we're listening to Joni, and we're thinking, I don't know if this is going to work or not. You know, it was so different. But that was Court and Spark, the first album we did with Joni. And the rest is kind of history. We went on the road with her, and it was great. She was wonderful to work for. Great time, you know, really, really a great musician. There's only one Joni Mitchell, that's for sure.
Hey, Tony, another great show, huh?
Episode 8, Terrence.
Can you believe it? Wow. Fantastic. Rob
We're
and
not done.
Elise.
There's one more segment on Max Bennett coming up, but I think we're going to do a little house cleaning right now, right?
That was great. And wow, and Kate's voice. Oh, and then, you know, Bruce is a character. Man, I love Bruce. This was a fantastic show. And folks, you know, if you want us to keep doing this, we're trying to do it. We're working hard to keep it going. There's a way you can help, even if it's a small way. Steamers, JAX, STEAMERS, JAX.com. There's a place, there's a little tip jar there. If you can add something to it, we certainly appreciate it. And of course, you know, Campus JAX is still open for business, doing curbside meals and I believe bar I wouldn't think of that one, but Tony came up with that one.
Well,
And
I was kidding, but then I heard a voice in my ear saying that you could order drinks to take out. I had no idea, but that's great.
yeah, and so
because I'll say this, one of my 2 favorite old fashions is from that bar.
great. Yep. Well, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday, Campus JAX. You can go there, call them up. They'll have your food ready for you, curbside and drink, obviously. And we need to help support Campus JAX so they continue on. Want to make some thanks to a few people here. First of all, my partner, Tony here, Tony Guerrero, who's just always just a fantastic man, comes up with incredible ideas and content. Tim Ellis in the background, you don't get to see him. Although one of these days we're going to feature, Tony and I have already conspired to feature Tim on one of these things. We're going to have a video of him.
We'll go on strike. We'll go on strike and we'll just sit here in silence.
That's right. And we'll say, we're not talking till you get your face on that screen. And Tim sits there, and he's using the video switcher during all this. During everything you see us live, we see Tim and well, is that an eyesore? No, we see Tim in the background. He's whispering things in our ears and making hand gestures, and he put this together along with, of course, Janvier Vargas, Golden, John Wynn over at Campus JAX, people that are working in the background very, very hard to do this, many hours per week just to do this little segment. And, of course, to all of the musicians that and talent that have helped us out throughout this. We hope you can go support them at their respective websites, etc. Purchase their things. My gosh, we got some great shows coming up. Next week, we have the incredible jazz pianist Tamir Handelman. And then coming up on the 24th, another incredible jazz pianist, Shelley Berg. So keep your eye on Campus JAX, Facebook, and campusjax.com or Jax Hideaway, and anything else, Tony, that you can say.
I'll tell you what, I think we're going to close out with another segment of the Max Bennett thing. Now that's those are taken from a video I did a few years back where I just I've known Max since the late 80s. And I just felt I wanted to help document his story. He had been working on his biography at the time, and I'm not sure that it ever got finished, but I just had felt I wanted to get some of those stories on tape. And so we connected with him, interviewed him, and then found a bunch of old photos. And just what an incredible, as you've noticed from those videos, just what an incredible career he had. And he's one of those guys that the general public may not know his name, but everybody's heard him play. And there's so many of those people in the music industry. You know, we all know the star names, but there's so many people, the musicians, the sidemen, the people on the back of the album. Mm-hmm. And he was one of those who just had this incredible career. And I always say, like, he worked with everybody from Charlie Parker and Ella Fitzgerald to Frank Zappa and Joni Mitchell and Tom Scott. Like, he just covered so many genres and multiple decades. And he was the bass player for the Partridge Family, and he was the guy who discovered the song Fever, and it's just a crazy career. And I was very fortunate. I got to know him over the last 30 years or so. So we're going to watch more on that. And I think that's it.
When you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning, fever all through the night.
Our band continued, LA Express, until about 1977, something like that. And so I continued in the studios. Victor Feldman had asked me to play on his next album, which I was very honored because he didn't like anybody. He's a great musician, On the strength of that, I thought, I think I'll start a band again, because I was really, not to wave at flags, but I was really responsible for LA Express. I'm the one that got the ball rolling on that. Then I decided that I loved sailing. So I bought a sailboat and moved to San Clemente, California, of course. And so I was going to a place called the Cafe Lido in Newport Beach. I asked the owner of Cafe Lido, I said, if I put a band together, I'd been sitting in there with different bands, and I said, if I put a band together, could we work on a Sunday afternoon? He said, sure. So that's when I put the band together. Naturally, I've been playing a long, long time and gone through different phases, first with the bebop and then into contemporary jazz, which has a bad name sometimes because of different concepts. And it seems like now that because of the synthesizers and also the internet, that everybody that can run an internet thinks they can write a song. It doesn't happen to be true. I don't consider myself a leader because I'm not a soloist, not a great soloist or any of that. I love to play in a rhythm section, and that's what I do, and that's what's made my, if you want to call it, career. That's all I've ever done, and that's what my reputation. I love to write, and I love to get on the stage and have great players play my music. That's the turn on for me.